Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 366. I just do a quick 1 hour show, hopefully, and touch on some of the other stuff that we missed this week. But also a interesting story from MUFON that proves that they do get real cases. So that's coming up, and you may or may not have heard about it, but this happened in 2010. And it was like the smoking gun of all evidence they missed. So hopefully the audio is good. Funny sound effect then. Hello. Good to be back. Oh, I see, I got the echo back feed on, that's why. I thought it was a double echo. Come on, give us some speed. The old laptop. Yeah, I think we're back up and running. Don't know if anyone's going to be around. Says you got one watching. I'll just type up the welcome message first. So yeah, like I said, I do them at random times. It keeps you on your toes out there. Not that anyone joins me. So we're going to talk about MUFON messing up a investigation. And yet the person's still employed. I mean, it's the smoking gun of all smoking gun evidence they could have got. And we'll cover it in a minute. Hey, anybody out there? Say hi on the side if you can. If you want to. Also, we'll look at other bits and pieces. That will do. So first up, I want to talk about that Stargate thing again. So I bookmarked it here. I still have to figure out how to change that start location business. That's interesting. Remember there used to be on the map here what looked like a cloud UFO. Well, it looks like they may have updated the images and it's not there now. Used to be here, a white blob. So yeah, I've just noticed that. So let's have a look at the history data. Right, it has been updated this month. 2nd of the 21st. So if we go back, we should be able to get that white blob again, which I've said was a cloud, I think. And third phase was saying it was a UFO. Can't see it there either. Starting point should have been here. Can't see it. Very interesting. Maybe it was an artifact. Looks like they got rid of that image completely. But we have got on a live show about that one. I thought it was a cloud. Oh, here we go. So what year is that one? There it is. It's casting a shadow, right? I said it was like a cloud forming over the mountain range there. And of course they were saying it was a tic-tac. But yeah, this proves once they update the video. So that was 7th of 2/19, so they must have done another one after that. I'm not scrolling. I'm clicking on it. Okay, they've got a nighttime version here as well. Taken on the same month. Next month, also dark, but no cloud, of course. And on the 9th September, even darker snapshot there. And then 11th, the cloud's not there. In fact, there's no other white clouds around. Of course, it is in a hot area there, but it's right near the sea. We zoom right out. There's the sea, so it could form clouds and they could disappear very quickly. So yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, we're looking at the Stargate before and I couldn't figure out how to do that 3D thing. So radar domes, here it is. This is why we always revisit things, right, to see if things have been updated. And you can see now I've got the 3D thing working. Now, how did I get that working? Right, turns out I didn't have to do any software update. You just have to be on Google Earth Pro, which is only the standalone application. Hey, Area 51, how's it going? Glad you could join us, at least someone does. I'm not sure if you've seen my latest stuff that I've been putting up. I've been re-upping stuff from YouTube to Bitchute. Which also, I should say, is ba-bum! We've made over 1,000 subs on Bitchute overnight. So, my re-uploads have sort of triggered a frenzy of subs. Unfortunately, they're not subbing on Twitch and joining us in live shows. Or donating or helping out with monthly subscribe stars. But you can see here, not sure how it's done, but we'll get into that in a minute. Here's the one here called 3D buildings under layers. You just have to make sure it's ticked on. There you go. Now, to me, it doesn't even line up. Right, it's not even lining up properly. It's way off. Right. And I can't see on this map some type of high arch building, which is very strange, isn't it? So who got the information to suggest there's a high arch building there? So that needs to be back here, so it's inaccurate. It's way off, right? But they've drawn spheres on little poles. And didn't they say that the AI program worked it out? Based on what, though? Because the human brain is a wee bit better than artificial intelligence. And we don't see the arch here on that blurriness there. We could work out that it was radar domes. But who said the gap here is correct? That kind of looks wrong. Yeah, to me. I think the AI is misleading people. Of course, you can see here, if this is like a standard warehouse building, right? You know how high those roofs are. They're almost like two-story house, some of them. Well, that's this Stargate. If that's meant to be a Stargate, right? And it's not even circular. It's not even the right shape to make a proper wormhole. That would have to be like 12 stories big. Why would you need a Stargate that big? And why would you have it out in open space, right? So again, it sort of debunks it, right? You'd have it all hidden under another big building, right? So you wouldn't have it outside like that. And you wouldn't make one so big unless you're going to fly a jumbo jet, you know, on the side, because you can see here, it's not wide enough probably to fly a jumbo jet through. Unless you're a really competent pilot, you're probably going to scrape the wingtips going through that. Why not build it bigger, wider, so you can fly big planes into the wormhole? Stupid, really. Of course, that's on third phase of the moon, that garbage. So anyway, I'm not too impressed with the 3D thing. But I'm not sure if it works on the rest of the things here. Monolith, that's now gone, I think. It was meant to be here somewhere. So why hasn't it got there? So obviously someone hasn't done it. So where's the monolith gone? I think it's been updated, isn't it? Oh, right, that was 2015. Got to go right to the end. Okay, it should be here somewhere. Can't quite see it. Yeah. Beats me. I thought it was there. Can't see it now. Oh, that level. Now let's try something else. Ice Lake UFO. It's got to be down in Antarctica. Have we got a 3D rendered UFO there? I don't think so. Hey, have they updated it? It's a blurry mess. Cloud cover. Can we get to the end? There's the one. 2006, is it? Alright. No 3D model there. Even looks like a lake edge, doesn't it? Sunken in. But if you rotate it, it looks like it's on top. See that? That's optical illusion to you. That's how the mind plays tricks on you. There, it looks like it's on top. Rotate it back around. And it looks like a sunken lake, which is what it is. And that's how the 4 channels do it, right? They fool you like that. Rectangle iceberg, and that's a good one. Of course, this is meant to be a Nazi alien base, according to Mr. MBB. And there's the ice block here, slightly off course. That's a massive, massive chunk of square rock. Square ice. And we talked about how it forms crystals, water, special water. Forms hexagon-shaped crystals, which break off on sharp edges, right? A bit like glass. And of course, that's why it forms these square icebergs, a bit like ice cubes. Well, sugar lumps even. Let's see. Dayakov. Okay, where's that one going? Russia. So no 3D buildings there so far. So that's where apparently those Russian people got killed. So these have been places that were visited during live shows, and I've just made bookmarks, right? So if you've not watched all the past shows, you're missing out on good content. That was a really good one we did with Robert Face on Earth. Let's have a look at that one. Okay. Is that the baby face? Is it? Can't see no baby face there so far. No. Don't know what face we're looking at. But I can't see no face there now. Okay, it looks like a big chunk of mountain range there, doesn't it? Can't see no face. Is it there? It looks like an alien eye. Maybe it's one of these ones you have to rotate, maybe. Yep. Okay. Okay, looks like an alien head. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think that was meant to be. Ah, right. Now I'm starting to see it. Kind of looks like an alien eye here. And that's where the mouth was, wasn't it? So that's 2013. And that's the last scan we got, is it? So it hasn't been updated. Be interesting to see. Yeah, I won't say that looks really convincing face to me. Oh, right, there's the mouth. Just zoom out a bit. Alright, the eyes, nose. It's funny how our brains find patterns like that in the clouds and snow. But yep, you can guarantee it's going to be on third face. So yeah, that 3D rendering option, not the greatest. But now we know how to get it, right? Mystery solved, and you have been shown how you get it. So yeah, I think if Google Earth Pro is just free, you can just download it. Don't use the online one. Haven't updated my one for a long time now. Mind you, it does say here 2020, so it's not really that old considering. But anyway, moving on to the main story. Now, Martin Willis, he managed to get people on his show, unlike us. And Chase Kloetzke is the one that messed up the investigation. And we'll just listen to it, and it's an amazing story. It would have been the disclosure of all time, right? It's a story that everybody should know about. And it just proves that MUFON do get credible cases, and apparently this was a famous person where we still don't know, because it's not public information. The name is anomalous, but Hollywood star or something like that, or a big star of some kind, maybe a singer even, living out in the whatnots. So we'll just have a listen to it, and this will be the third time I've talked about it now, but not on the new setup, so it's well worth redoing again, because it's a really good story.
An event that happened to us in 2010, and I was in MUFON at the time, and I was living in Millington, Tennessee, which is right outside of Memphis. My husband was active duty at the time, and we literally got a call and it was a STAR team case. And the witness was telling me that they were seeing these strange lights and lights in the sky, orange orbs. They were actually chasing them down these, country dirt roads. He was telling me things like his children were afraid to go to their rooms at night, and, just things were ramping up, and he was getting very nervous. This was also the time of that epic big flood where it flooded Nashville to Memphis. So our initial meeting was pushed back almost 2 weeks until the waters receded enough to where I could even drive there. So a lot of the roads were...
So Nashville sounds like it might be like a country singer, eh? So I wonder who...
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we got a new follower. Thanks for joining us. So I wonder who the country singer might be, if someone famous, because it's a he, she's saying. So we're looking at Nashville. As we talked about, that's a very interesting area for UFO activity, right? So let's just bring it up on the map, Nashville. I will have to pause it throughout the interview for fair use, so just bear with us. We will listen to it. Tennessee. And I don't think it's going to be in the main city. It's going to be on the outskirts, because he said it was flooded and hard to get to. So you can see it's near the famous location that we talked with Shelley on her alien grey visitation. Well, this sounds like almost the same thing. Orange lights, lights in the sky, and then alien greys. So yeah, just listen out for it. But we've covered this area before, with the links to Mothman and underground tunnels, and also the Hellier series. And of course, we're talking about what was the other one? The Goblins. Whereabouts was that? Down here somewhere. Down this way, wasn't it? What was the area? But yeah, I have covered it in the past. It's well worth digging up those old live shows, because there's a lot of information in it and connections I found. So we'll just carry on with the story, and maybe I can find those ones at the end.
We're still closed, but I did get a call. I was supposed to go, I believe, on a Saturday, and I get a call. I think it was a Thursday night. Please don't quote me on that one. But it was a couple of days earlier than me going out, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Chase, already things are happening, and this is exactly what starts when when the big stuff comes. The triangles." And I was so stunned when I heard him say this, because that's the one thing he hadn't reported yet. And I've been talking to this guy for a few weeks already.
Can you just 1 second? I don't think you mentioned this. Pardon me for interrupting, but this is also someone that is well known.
Yes. Yes.
A celebrity of sorts.
Yes.
I can't really go into details, but you did tell me, which is pretty amazing. That has he ever gone public with it? Do you know?
No. And truthfully, every once in a while, I'll get a text or whatever. We were talking constantly during the event, or the report process. Even after this evening, we stayed in touch for a little bit, because there was so much more investigation we needed to do. Then things started slowing down a little bit, and it turned into, like text message, every week or so, like, "Have you heard anything?" "No, not yet," blah, blah, blah. Then it just, now what it is maybe, I don't know, about every 6 months or so, I just get a text, "Hey, you still there?" And I just text back, "Yep." "You still good?" He's like, "Yep." And I think it's his way of just making sure I still have the same phone number and I'm still there in case one day. But this witness is extremely well known. He is very credible, and he did not want to go public. He had small children at the time, and he feared living in this small town, and he did that on purpose for privacy. He didn't want his kids to be, the kids being teased growing up in school that, their dad saw a UFO, and, very private. His privacy probably meant as much to him as anything else he protected, including his children. In fact, he made a comment to me that I'll never forget. When I asked him, have you ever heard of your neighbors talking, or are there whispers, or anybody mentioning that they're seeing anything? And he kind of leans up on the fence and he says, "Chase, around here, people mind their own business, and we don't like people who don't."
So to me, that's a problem in ufology right there, that people keep it to themselves. And of course, this is the sort of thing that would bring disclosure out. If you had a lot of credible people, even if they managed to catch some video of this damn stuff, would be just the smoking gun evidence of all time, bigger than Phoenix Lights, right? So yeah, I wonder who it is.
I got it, guys, right? So it was kind of that mentality. The other thing that's, before I finish what happened to us that evening, it's also important to know that this is so rural Tennessee that these guys don't call 911. They handle it. 911 is something that they call after, clean up the mess or whatever they need to do. These guys take care of whatever they need to out there. When we first got there, there was a point when we got to the cornfield that he pulls out like a big old shotgun. And apparently the look on my face was like, you have to remember, there's two females. We just jump in a car and we go to people's houses. We don't know anything about them. It's like kind of silly or dangerous almost. But
so it's a small town with cornfields. Well, that's probably going to be Tennessee. It's going to be any place out in the country here. I'm not sure if we can see cornfields, but yeah, it could be anywhere, right? So look, these look like cornfields. Cornfields everywhere. Rural place. It just makes you wonder. Even if we had a suburb, it could help us. Well, what they call them in America, counties. What our street address would be really good. But yeah. So how close to the rest of the states, is. Makes you wonder if what the cornfields were as well. We got no information. Why is this not public? This case. This is what I find really frustrating. Is MUFON do keep all the best stuff open endlessly. Ongoing abductions, so keep it open, and we never hear about it. And it's the same with the ER team, right? All the abduction cases, we never hear any of the good stuff where the guy got stuck in the ceiling tile from abduction being going wrong. And of course we got Dr. Lear's patient 15 where they claimed that the plastic forks in the drawer were magnetized after the event and various other things around the house, including the tree outside. So where's all that evidence? It just annoys the hell out of me. So yeah, so how close to the city were all the other major cases that we hear about? Who knows? But it gets worse. She really messes up here. Poor investigator, I call it.
Here we are. We jump in the guy's truck and we go down to the woods and in this big cornfield. He pulls out this shotgun and he looked at me and he said, no. He says, Chase, we have a problem with coyotes around here. So in case any of these should come up, I got us covered. This guy never said run, get into the truck. He already had a plan because he knew of a possible danger. It's just, this is what they do. So anyway, I jump in the car. When he said triangle, I just ran. I wasn't even sure all the roads were clear. Didn't even think about that. But I called the other MUFON investigator that was assigned to secondary with me, and I went and picked her up, and we were on the road. I was gone, and by the time we got up to the house, it was already starting, to be dawn. Not dawn. Twilight. So it was starting to get dark. Not quite yet. We pull up in the driveway and he immediately takes us kind of to the edge of where his yard, and the yard goes down on a big slope, but you could kind of see this big area. And he goes, this will be a great view. And all of a sudden he goes, oh, look, there's those little ones popping up. And I look up and the other investigator look up, and sure enough, it took me a minute for my eyes to adjust and to see exactly what.
Okay, no getting the camera out, no setting up a tripod, no head cam going or anything like that. Compared to TV investigators, this is appalling, really. Dear oh dear, even seeing the lights that's describing there. Because MUFON investigators are a credible source, right? Trained investigators, trained on the tech. Also should be well aware that the batteries run dry. to set up a locked off camera at certain distances, just in case, you know.
Was talking about, but then it was clear as day. There's these little tiny lights in the sky about the size of the stars, except they're moving and they're coming together and they're forming shapes and kind of doing things almost as a unit and then splitting up and almost performing for us. And if you got tired of this group, there was about 4 more starting to gather doing the same thing in the skies. Well, Martin and Bob, who called, Bobby, I think that was his name.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm excited to this point because this is friggin' awesome. I'm just like, we got our little tablets out looking at, satellites. Where are the satellites? Where are the planes? All the usual suspects. Even though clearly this is not what it was, we still had to do our job and document that these things were not there. The ISS is not in the area at the time, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm just freaking out. I'm looking, I'm like,
now, what was I saying yesterday about experts? Experts are trained into using the apps to rule out things, compared to Third Phase of the Moon and MUFON, who claim to think that they can replace MUFON. Well, they don't even do the basics right. But here, they're ruling it out, right? So definitely something more going on. So this is why it's more credible. And it should have been, someone should have been recording the whole thing, even them investigating it. The whole investigation should have been on videotape. Should have been on a locked-off camera. Or some other person that follows them around.
My heart's just pounding. This is a good night already. And then he suggests that he has a cornfield down the road. It's about 100 acres. It's huge, huge cornfield. Again, this is April. So the corn is, just those little things that come up maybe 4 or 5 inches. So it was real pliable. We weren't going to hurt any crops. So we could go down there. And that's what we did. We jumped in his truck and he took us to the middle of this great big cornfield. Have to tell you, I'm from Rhode Island. I've never seen a cornfield that big in my life. It was like, first thing I asked him is, you own all this? This is all your corn? And who needs this much corn? But anyway, it was fun. But we kind of set up like a little table, and I just had to have a few things set up because I do like my equipment. So it wasn't too long, and all of a sudden, he kind of gets excited. He goes, oh my gosh, here it comes, Chase. This is exactly why I wanted you to come here. And we look up and he's pointing, and sure enough, I see a light, and it's bigger than the little kind of starlights we had seen before or witnessed before. And it's just this white light. And at first you're not really sure what it's doing, but then it was clear that it was kind of getting closer. And then all of a sudden 2 more show up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's 3 of them. This is so cool. And, I'm looking at the other witness. She's kind of looking at, the other investigator. She's looking at me, and we're just almost dumbstruck at this point. Because here's these 3 lights. Clearly, I knew already, this is no plane.
And they're not filming.
At least not yet. And I kind of had the feeling that, this, something's coming. So, and not in like a bad way or anything. It was just like, oh my gosh. And sure enough, as it got closer, you realize these weren't 3 individual lights, although they were, but they were connected to one object. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is a triangle.
Can you imagine MUFON investigators not filming this, right? So this woman's still with MUFON. She should have been sacked after this, or retrained. Maybe they should have had a guy with her rather than 2 females. I don't know. Maybe 2 females weren't thinking straight. Sometimes you need a mixture of team members, I think. This sounds like it was a big case. It should have had like a team of 10. It should have had everything thrown at it. Star team members. Everything should have been down there, right? Especially if it was happening there and then. The guys said they show up almost every night, so
and then you could see very faintly a red light underneath it, not directly underneath it like the Belgium. This one was forward. It was more forward, like ridiculously way forward. But sure enough, here it comes, and it just slowly came over our heads. It was just smooth. It's really hard to describe how it moved. It wasn't really floating or being towed. It wasn't flying. It wasn't gliding. It's hard to even find the words. It moves so differently. And at this point, I'm trying to pick up equipment, and I'm kind of doing it like this, where you kind of got your hands down because you don't want to take your eyes off it. You're almost afraid if you don't look at it, it goes away.
Yeah.
Like you turn away and then it's gone. You hear that a lot. But, I'm trying to pick up my cameras. I believe I had four cameras at the time, all different makes and models. And none of them, every time I tried to get a shot, it was just dead. I mean, dead. Like the little thing wasn't clicking or anything. And I'm picking up my tri-field meter, and I had a couple other things out there, weather. I had a little weather thing that had like a little fan in it, where you kind of pull it up to see what a wind speed was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, nothing was working. And I was very, very frustrated. I remember feeling
it's very frustrating like, listening to this
just
story.
More than frustrating. Like I really wanted to just toss this stuff because it's right here. I'm an investigator. I'm right here. It's right there. And we're missing it. Sure enough, this triangle goes directly over our heads. It goes right over that cornfield and never changes altitude, speed, nothing.
How fast would you guess it was going?
That one was a hard one. It was so big.
You don't know the distance either.
Mm-mm. Well, I know that when we put if I were to hold my arm straight up in the air, and open a magazine,
smoking gun
and look at the object, the magazine would not have covered that object.
So it was a big, probably
huge.
Very
we
big.
have good cameras.
Now, did you feel anything? Too. A lot of times people talk about they feel like a vibration, they'll feel like a pressure or something like that. Did you feel anything at all?
I don't remember, other than just, your heart's pounding because, this thing was huge. It was a little intimidating, but in an awestruck way. And I think I was just more excited because at this point, again, I've been doing this since 1994, and this was the coolest thing I've ever seen so far. I've seen a lot of things that aren't supposed to exist. This was the coolest by far. It was also the way this moves is there's just something about it that you just know it's not ours. It can't be. It's just weird. It's different. The atmosphere changes, but I don't remember hearing buzzing or feeling anything other than OMG. I can't believe it's right there, and I can't take a photo. So other than that, I'm not sure really if I'd even notice if anything else was going on at that point. I do know it was.
I'm not sure if she's retold the story, but whether she's going to add on to it. But apparently, when it flew over their heads, they took off running for some reason. Not too sure if she embellished the story or omitted some of the story, but we'll see if she brings it up. But apparently, they ran through the cornfield and the person in front stopped dead, and there they are looking at this alien grey in the field. So let's see if she tells that part of it on this one, because she's been on Martin's show a few times, and I don't think I've heard this version back in 2017. So let's just see what happens.
It was kind of a weird quiet, but other than that, but we just kept our eyes on it, and I still kept trying to take photographs and video, and as it's going away, I did manage to get off. I ended up with a little over 600 photographs, because when it did start working, you could still see a little bit of the back end of it, and I did get some. And
so can we have a look at them? No.
But it's, again, lights in the sky, case. That's all you can see, and they haven't been able to determine if it's anything other than strange lights in the sky. So at least got that evidence. But, here it is right here. Well, anyway, I was so frustrated because of the equipment and reached down because I was going to, change the batteries, because at this point I'm thinking it's battery drain, which is something we hear about all the time in paranormal and UFO investigations. But when I picked my camera up, the little red light was, ready. I'm just like, wait, what? So I start taking photos, and sure enough, they're working just fine, and everything is back online.
That's why I say that if you put it into a Faraday cage, right, keep one spear in a Faraday cage. At least you can pop that out. It's not going to have the battery drain on it. But they should have like special carry bags. But still, most of that electronics could be shielded, right, through a Faraday cage and have like a little pinhole baseball cap thing that's always filming. So when you're on these Star Team investigations, right, it should be documented from as soon as you leave the person to where the spot is, where it happens, their house or whatever. It should always be recorded, because when your camera goes blank, it sort of backs up their story as well. Somehow it's affecting the electronics, so it must be producing some sort of field which neutralizes our technology. So it just makes you wonder if a Faraday cage will work, or different whole grid mesh sizes, multiple layers of Faraday cage. All that needs to be investigated, especially when you get these abduction cases where they say it happens randomly each week, right? So you give them the gear, it gives you opportunity to try and research it. But you'd have a locked off camera across the road that they wouldn't know about, in a tree, in a car. They're pretty cheap now, and they can stream real time into 5G, into the internet. So even if they do go down, you're still going to have evidence. So why these people didn't have a camera on top of the car, or lock off a camera and aim it at the sky where they were going into the cornfields, they would have, and then when it flew overhead, and as it's come towards it, would have gone static, right? Would have been like the smoking gun evidence ever. Let's see if she talks about the alien next. Else we might have to find the other episode.
My tri-field is lighting up when I pick it up, and turn low buttons. But I had just decided that I was going to change the batteries anyway, because ridiculously detailed, and if we already had a problem, let me just change them. And on a tri-field meter, they have the little screws in back where you need a little screwdriver to take the battery cover off. And I was doing that, and it was during this time where I just remember feeling, just real quick, kind of like, I think almost like someone's watching me. I guess I don't even remember feeling anything. I just remember turning around and saying, "Hey guys, does anybody else feel like you're being watched?" And I think I referred to, I don't mean like being watched from up there. And I don't even think I finished my statement. And I just remember this something very physical just pounds into you. And I was completely aware that every single cell in my body was in not fight or flight, absolute terror. Wow. Every cell in my body, not just your stomach or you're nervous or you feel fight or flight. It is horrendous. It's
We've heard that before, though, in other cases. Remember, people that talked about the Roswell crash, and they're looking at the alien beings, and they could feel the fear of the alien creature in their heads. Remember that? Stories told by certain people, where they feel the wave of fear and all that sort of stuff. So she's getting a psychic projection of that being that's watching them. So this must be the alien grey part coming up.
I know this is going to sound crazy, which is what most UFO witnesses start out saying anyway. But the longer it goes on, the more I forget the details about how I felt at the time. But I just remember it wasn't painful. I just remember being absolute in terror. And I just remember I turned and started running. When I did, I noticed that the witness and the other investigator turned at the exact same time and was running too.
Did you just leave your camera equipment and everything, or did you grab it?
Yeah. No. Everything was. I just remember I turned and I started running.
Wow.
And it's funny because I also remember the whole time when I'm running and we're remember the waters had just receded, so it's kind of soft out there. And I have bad ankles, like they kind of roll on me all the time. And I'm always worried about, twisting because it's, but I'm running and I'm really going pretty fast. And I remember
thought
seeing
she was
this
going to say she was in high heels.
I'm just watching this light. I'm just following this light. It's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, bam, I hit what felt like this brick wall and came practically to a dead stop. And what happened was I ran into the witness who I didn't see had stopped in front of me. And that strange light I kept watching that's going left and right, left and right, left and right, was he had a flashlight in his hand. And as he's running, this is the light. But I just remember being focused on this stupid little light and hit him. And I knocked him a good one, I'll be honest with you. And I just remember hearing him say, "What the F is that?" And he dropped his left hand. I remember the flashlight being in his left hand. Sorry for the coughing, everybody. The left hand, and he just said, "What the F is that?" Threw his hand out to his side. He looked over, and not 6 feet from us, here's this being, just standing there.
Not moving or anything?
No evidence.
I remember you describing this, so like little stick legs or something like that?
I remember being
not even a regular
in.
camera.
I'm not sure if that's where the flashlight was.
This is like the smoking gun evidence of all time, eh? Triangle craft, fly overhead, running along a cornfield and bump into an alien grey just standing there looking at them. Oh god! And there's not even a camera on them, and no locked off cameras anywhere. Like you see on TV shows, I think Ghost Adventures should have done an investigation on this one. Even they would have done a better job than MUFON, Star Team, crikey.
It took many months after that we realized, because I was so worried, his legs were abnormally, like a normal size 3.5 foot, with, kind of that normal body that you would expect. But his legs were thinner than the pen. And that's what I remember. And it just didn't make sense. It was one of those sights you were seeing where I was kind of focused. And I saw his face, and then I just remember his legs. And now we realize it was the angle of the flashlight that I was just seeing bits of them. The other legs were shaded.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, and next thing I know, we were running.
Did you scream? I mean, what happened when you all saw this being?
Nothing.
And did it react at all?
Nothing. And that's something when we were going through the testimony after and reporting what we saw to state director and the other people that came out, we kept saying, like, how does it go from dark in the woods? Remember, there's no street lights anywhere. There's no town close. This is as dark as it gets. It's that kind of sky you dream of looking at, just full of stars and activity. How do you go from dark, dark, dark to one of these big, halogen flashlights directly in your face and not a flinch, nothing? I described...
That kind of almost sounds like Mojo. So I remember he had a big flashlight and he was shining it. And here was that mantis, or what I class as a mantis. So it look. I don't know if you've seen it, the episode I've put up on Bitchute. I've re-put it up on Bitchute. I don't think I've got the link handy here. But if you have a look, it's called Alien Grey. There's a footage I asked to get off the Sky Watcher, and I said I'd do a decent job on it, which I did, and give a fair review on it. And... I managed to pull out the alien grey that was visible on the craft that he didn't notice at the time, he claims. If you listen to the interview after, I pull up the interview as well. He shows up about an hour into the other episode, which was 5.5 hours long because it was such an interesting case. And yet people like James Fox and all that dismissed him as a hoaxer. But this... Chase case sounds almost identical to using the torch, right? And it attracts them to the torch to see what it is. Bright lights that don't cause blinking, or her eyes could be optic nerve firing in reverse. I just think maybe they've got some sort of, you talk about the big black eyes, they might have like, contact lenses, that sort of shields. They don't see the light the same way we do, right? A bit like the Predator movie where he sees it in thermal or whatever, It could be something like that. We don't know too much about the alien greys, right? We also think they might be biomechanical, like they might be manufactured livable robots, right? That self-repair and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah. Wouldn't you feel embarrassed being a MUFON field investigator and you messed up this amazing sighting? There's zero evidence apart from a few blurry snaps on a film of the craft leaving, where it's too far away to see any detail. When you could have had like 10 locked off cameras all around it, or on top of the car even, running off the car battery. You're not going to drain a car battery too quick. As you know, you can't start the car, but it'd be interesting whether it could neutralize the electrons in the battery going to a camera, especially if you stick it in a Faraday cage, right? And if you could film through the wire itself, even though it would be in the way, you'd at least get some image, I think there must be a way to defeat the UFOs and aliens. You got to think outside the box. But you can see here, she's obviously really crushed that she didn't get no evidence. In 2010, all the technology we had back in 2010 as well. Think robots and original pure species also. Organic bats or drones. But it makes you wonder if the triangle craft is Black Ops again, right? And maybe they're working with the alien greys. We still don't know, right? There's so many questions and answers. I mean, so many answers, not questions. I mean, so many questions, but not answers to them. Anyway, even I'm getting confused now. But also, it's a bit like the alien visit I had. When you're going to tell it, people are going to think you had a bad nightmare or dream. When there's more to it than just that, right? With after effects of things that happen after. So it's sort of, do you tell people or not? But then when you have your own experience and then you start hearing these stories like Mojo's, you start to believe them more. Rather than being a pure skeptic, right? And I think that's why the aliens come to visit me, because they knew I was doing this stuff. I know it sounds crazy, I know, because it was the Deep Prasad also talked about Alien Visited a couple of months after, right after my thing in February 2020. And everybody was saying he was making it up, but his story was so typical, mundane, around the bed, and they cut him off and all that stuff. Well, mine wasn't anything like that. Mine was so unique that it makes it more believable in that sense, even to yourself. So, yeah. This makes you wonder if those people are still in contact, though, and if that case is still open. And you can see why Bigelow, which I've actually got an interview of him here, was so interested in these types of cases, and why he wanted to be on the STAR team. So let's just finish it off here. We've probably used quite a lot of our fair use here, but
the being, when I saw it, that it was obviously biological. How I know that, I can't say, other than, it was just biological. And yet it reacted with nothing, almost mechanical. So, but yeah, no one screamed, nobody said nothing. In fact, I don't remember hearing anything. And I was just running again. And so was a witness. And we got to his truck. All of us jumped in the truck, pulled out of the cornfield pretty aggressively, by the way. He was making no haste. And we got to his driveway, and we all piled out. Nobody saying anything. It took a moment, and that
sounds almost like that Taps one where they're filming inside the prison and they see this black shadow approach them and they all run the opposite way. They never lived that one down. But why would you drive away? Why wouldn't you just jump on the alien? They had a shotgun, didn't they? Didn't she say at the beginning they had a shotgun in the car? So how far away were they from the car? Why wasn't there no camera locked down filming from the car? It's this case, every time I hear it, just drives me crazy. I can understand me when you're sleeping and you don't have the camera technology anyway to be able to film a visitation, and even if you could move, right? For some reason you can see straight away this creature didn't look at him and freeze him. So this story is more interesting in that sense, because every time you hear about people seeing the alien greys, that somehow they're able to freeze them and they can't run anywhere. This is the same within bed, you can't move. But in my case, I managed to be able to move my neck and turn and move my hands a wee bit to lift off a bed sheet to be able to see what was happening. And if you haven't listened to my story, I do tell it in a live show, which you can be found on the home tab. I'm not sure what live stream number it is, but it's there on the home tab on YouTube. It should be on Bitchute as well, I think. Go and check it out. But yeah, looks like she stuffed all that one up, huh?
Really remember, I think I was the first one who said something, and I think I kind of giggled and said, "What the blank just happened?" Like, what? Like, and I'm like,
we'll
why
just
do we
review
run?
the camera.
I that was something. And at this point, I don't even know when the fear left, because by the time we got back to the driveway, that terror, I mean, to even talk about it now with you, which isn't as much detail as probably we did the first time, because I'm trying to get through the story before we run out of time. But, honestly, even this little bit, you just feel, it's just, I don't feel that terror again, but there's enough of a memory where I just don't want to go there again.
Sure.
It was brutal, that kind of terror. And the only way I could describe it is every little cell of my body knew had its own.
But it's not her terror. I think that it's the alien greys were scared. Maybe they had escaped and the triangle craft was searching for them. See, they haven't even thought about outside the box thinking here, like I do. Say the alien greys were dropped off by a UFO and got left behind, a bit like E.T., and the military knew about it and they're sending out a triangle craft searching for them, right? Of course they're going to be scared, right? They're going to be picked up and tortured or whatever, imprisoned. So maybe that's the bigger picture here. Maybe the lights all around the cornfield was the UFOs initially seeing that farm, and they got dropped off to do some scientific research, alien grey robots or whatever, collecting plant material, animals around the cornfield. There's going to be a lot of rats and stuff like that, right? And they saw the black triangle come and they're scared they're going to get caught, because maybe that's reverse technology, right? And maybe they got the same sort of technology as the alien greys have now to freeze them in their path and just grab them. Electronic net.
Huge terror.
Now,
so anyway, I remember saying that we just needed to call the state director. At this point, this night's already ridiculous. Nobody gets everything in one night. That was probably my biggest concern going home. I just remember thinking, and not cussing, which I did in the car. I won't hear, but it was like, BS. Nobody gets everything in one night. What is going on? what just happened out there? And
You just
why
got
did we
nothing.
run? Not a runner.
Nothing.
The other investigator, I wouldn't call her a runner either. I didn't know her that well. She was just a MUFON investigator that was available. But I can tell you that witness wasn't a runner. Why did we run? One thing I can tell you that all of us.
So that's one thing I haven't seen the other MUFON investigator on with her confirming the story, which is pretty bad too.
Came out and said it was controlled. We had absolutely no control over what we were doing. What we did was something we had no control over. Wow. I could tell you that right now. There is no way. I don't know why we ran. Nobody was scared. And I think it's a third interview and disposition we were giving to the investigators. They kept asking us, well, did somebody say, what is that? Or how did you know the being was out there? And I'm like, I didn't.
I'm sure I made contact.
I didn't know if anyone else did. In fact, it was 2 weeks before I even realized that the other investigator was already in front of that being. When she turned and started running, the only two that saw it was me and the witness. So we really, because when we got back to the driveway, I just remember thinking, we can't talk about this. We cannot, the three of us cannot say one more word about what just happened down there until.
So that's the problem. We got these amazing cases and they're still open. So they're not available to the public. You got patient 15 with the magnetic plastic and fiberglass boat and tree. None of that's been made public. And then you got Peter Robbins talking about Jacob's case of a guy being lifted up and it went wrong and he got stuck in the ceiling panel and come crashing down with some of the board stuck in his back with a tear in it. So that's all documented with hospital visit and all that sort of stuff. And they got the board with the obviously skin embedded into it, which would be hard to do. So and then we got this case here. So 3 cases like this. Why is To the Stars not got hold of these images that she's talking about, or at least talked about it on TV shows? Why do we only hear it on Martin Willis' show? You know, every time I've heard her talk about it, it's been on Martin Willis' show. And this is the 3rd time that's been asked about it because it's so interesting. So yeah, welcome Ned, as Area 51 has said. If you want to change your color on the side chat, it looks like everybody's red here for some reason. You can do /color and change the color, and it should make it not the same color as mine. What is my color here, by the way? I'll just type it in and see. Hello, welcome. Like I said, I wasn't going to do a too long show today. Let's see, what's my color there? Sort of like a grey colour, alien grey. So yeah, you can type in /color. It's like a command there on Twitch. It allows you to change the colour. I'm not too sure. Is it yellow that sort of stands out better? Area 51, you're meant to be green, but why are you red on the OBS chat? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're sort of like a darker red, is it? I don't know. You're same red as the other guy. Maybe try resetting it again. I think then OBS remembers it. So yeah, interesting case, yeah, because that was in Nashville somewhere. Like I said, we've talked about this area before being very hot activity of UFOs. It's in 37th parallel as well. It runs right through here, right through there. It's 37th parallel, and there's a lot of quartz, and you've got the underground tunnels there. And like I said, we've covered it on my channel many times, and I've got a playlist which I'll probably add this one to it too if I can find what it's called. So yeah, we've got the best playlists here that I'm talking about here, where you can listen to other members' abduction stories here, and also mine with the paranormal as well as the alien visit I had. And what's Ned asking? Do you have any experiences with plasmic globules? Never even heard of it. You're talking about dark blobs in the room. Not too sure what you mean by that. Is that paranormal more than alien? But yeah, just have a listen to my stories here. I go into great detail and draw pictures and everything. So yeah, spend your day listening to them. I know we do 3-hour streams, but they're broken up into topics. A lot of them haven't actually got chapters at the moment, though. That's a problem. Russell bodies are known as plasmic globules, but that's a medical condition. Russell bodies. I'm not even sure what Russell bodies is. Where'd you get that terminology from? Is there a certain website that you've been reading up on? Or medical books, or what? Area 51, he's a medical person. He's probably at work now, are you? In between calls, or waiting for the next one. So, yeah, I thought this would be interesting to bring up why it's fresh in my mind, because it sort of connects to everything here. So we're going to try and find the playlist. So you can go click on created playlists, and I think it's called Hella Hopi Indian Goblin Connection, which is all around the area there. I'm not sure if you've listened to the Hella series. A lot of people think it was drama and made up, but I think there's some truth in it. Some guy was talking about these creatures trying to break into his farmhouse, and that they lived into a old mining cave outside where the house was, and they took some photographs of footprints that look 3 toes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, here it is here. Hella discussion episodes. Is that the one? That's one of them. I'll post it inside anyway. Copy link address. You'll get hooked on the series if you've not seen it before. I think it's 2 seasons, 12 episodes each. And if you watch my stuff after, you'll be able to see the stuff that I saw that they missed. What else we got here? And there's another one here somewhere. So the truth is, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there that sort of proves the point that aliens and UFOs are real, but we never hear it because there's so much noise being put out by these big channels that we have to deal with the noise and sort of miss out on these good little cases. And a lot of people don't listen to these big long podcasts, right? And they miss out on all these great little stories. So yeah, they need to get around that 10-minute episodes that a secure team used to put out. If you're really a ufologist, you got to get into the 1 hour to 3 hour shows and just get stuck in. But make sure the person's credible, you know. Someone that puts up good stuff as well as debunk stuff. If you don't debunk stuff and you don't have the skill sets, you don't have the qualifications, they're less believable. If they got like a movie database where they claim to be actors and producers, then how do you know they're not fabricating stuff, right? And Secure Team was a wannabe actor and model. You can still find his pictures online. And also Blake Cousins. So, yeah, who you'd rather listen to? Me? Just the average Joe with qualifications that sort of knows what he's doing? Or do you want to go and listen to them with high school qualifications or less? That claim to be film producers. So yeah, where's this other one? Hella. Area 51 collection. What else we got? Truth. A lot of truth on different people. Of course, also the Vimanas also were faked. That was faked in 1900. Someone created some scripts. Some Indian university scientists actually did a big study on it and tried to prove beyond doubt that these flying vehicles turns out to be a whole fabricated story. So yeah, I covered that in 3 episodes there, and show the websites with information. There's a lot of stuff I've covered over the years, right? About different people. Third Phase, Bruce sees all. People that are just in it for the money. Me, I'm running on a shoestring, oily rag here, so, you know, I can only keep funding it for so long until my computer dies completely again. This one's starting to wear out, the keys are starting to go wrong in it, but you see my other one I had. Even the Sakaro one, I peed off a few people with, because everybody loves that one. But I found various new eyewitness accounts and descriptions that sort of changes the whole thing. And I'm going to redo that one and recap it all and summarize it up into a new episode, I think. Just, you know, a bit like the Travis Walton one I did. I showcase stuff that people never ever get to hear, which changes the whole story. You got to have an open mind, and you also got to question everything, right? Yeah, I just can't see it. It's got to be here. Anyway, I got to sort of move on. It's got Hopi Indians in the title, I think. Hopi Indians, Hellier, and Goblins. It's got to be here staring at me in the face. Paranormal and Ghosts, Corey Good, Skinwalker Ranch. Don't know, a lot of stuff. Mr. MBB, UFO Seekers, Billy Meyer, Goof on, Suspect Sky, Bill Snyder, Black Knight Satellites, Linda Moulton Howe. Why can't I see the one I'm after? Travis, Crop Circles, okay. Camera Artifacts. Pascagoula, that's a good collection there of interviews, well worth having a listen to as well. Some of them I spent hours cleaning up the audio from really poor audio, so you can actually hear it, although Google messes around with the audio balance. Should be better on Bitchute. Did I upload those ones yet on Bitchute? Probably not. I haven't uploaded lots of things, unfortunately. Here we go. Alien Goblins, that's the one I'm after here. Alien Goblins. And the Hopi Indian connection. Of course, you got the Badland episode, which is quite interesting. I found a lot of stuff in the terrain that no one else had picked up, where it actually looks like more than just one Indian head. I think it might be in that collection there, though, that I just posted. It's called Badlands. Another good one to look at. Unfortunately, I had a problem with the microphone, so I think I recapped it. So I did this Ancient Aliens and Levitating Stones one, and I don't know, the Men in Black had the field day that day, and the mic software was crackling and corrupted, and I had to re-edit it, and I did, and it's more bassy sounds, improved audio here. It's quite an interesting episode. I almost thought about redoing it again, but it's a lot of work, and what's the other one? Badlands. I think it's that one where I redo it a couple of days later. Badlands. I'll just quickly skim through some of that one. You can see I found lots of other stuff in the terrain that look like heads from Egypt, of all things. And of course, we used to do regular TV shows. Episodes, not TV shows. I wish it was TV. But that timetable is now old. So, yeah. Do I put up the images again? I think I do. So, look at these ones here. See here, we've got the Egyptian long head in the face. And then you got this one here, looks like an African headdress with the what I call a thing at the front, but like the what's that tribe that has long things sticking out, which represents another planet. And you can see here, it looks like an eye, definitely African nose and lips there, right? So I found all these things in the terrain that no one else has pointed out. Is it just matrix in, or have they somehow carved the land and planted trees in the right spots to make it look like faces? And also there's a fish at the shape of a lake. So go and check out that episode there. It's in the side. I think it might be up on Bitchute. Maybe. I think there's like 100 episodes missing. I'm not sure if that's where I started adding them, actually. 153. I'm pretty sure the early episodes are all missing. Live shows that I did. But the technology got better. Early days started corrupting the video and all sorts of nasty stuff. But yeah. Go and check out the home tab, and you can find all the key stuff there. Stuff about Secure Team hoaxing. If you think he's a nice guy, think again. The alien case that I talked about, but it doesn't include the interview here. But if you look in the comments, you'll find the link to the 5-hour interview. But again, I've just re-uploaded that to Bitchute. Documentary on Tesla I did, and Townsend Brown, and of course military badges. Quite an interesting one, that one. Some of it makes you wonder what's going on there. And here's the one talking about the Yolif Pass incident, where all those people got killed. That was really interesting too, that show. We found some interesting stuff on that. So yeah, it depends if you're new or not. We have got plenty of content here. We've got ones of alien pictures here that I look at and see if I can prove it one way or the other. And we've got interviews with MUFON and chief investigators, and look at Bob Lazar's video to see whether it was actually hoaxed and stuff like that. Nimitz, we've got a Tic Tacs here, and Skinny Bob. So yeah, I've done a whole heap of stuff. So yeah, I kind of look at things with new open mind. Don't prejudge things, and just follow the facts in my analysis, and then find some new clues. Like the Skinwalker Ranch, I find the connection between Denver Airport and Skinwalker Ranch. So go and check that one out too. But yeah, I was just going to talk about I don't think there's any more on her interview that we need to listen to, but just quickly check it.
Till our testimonies are taken.
Right.
And sure enough, that happened the very next morning. we called the state director. He put a red alert out on, and people were freaking out trying to get to that place because after hearing what happened. But I will tell you that we were back in that cornfield 30 minutes later because, again, I don't know when that fear left in that car ride. I just know that by the time I got to a driveway, I realized, oh, I don't feel that terror. And wait, what just happened? And we were right back down there. And I just remember his cousins were a little curious, and they drove down, and they were standing on the side of the cornfield for a little bit while we were out there. I didn't want them in the cornfield because we were in an investigation. And I couldn't help but think, did you guys come down maybe to see my reaction or to see why, we didn't see your little eight? Like, did they put that out there? Was this a prop? Because it didn't move. There was nothing. And the first thing we did when we got back to the cornfield was retrace all our steps. I could see everywhere we had been. I could even see where I hit that witness. There was nothing around there.
No footprints?
No. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't even footprints of somebody walking out to place something out there. That whole area was completely untouched. Thank goodness. And of course I had to get photos of that because, that it was something that wasn't there that proved somebody didn't put that being out there as a joke or a mannequin or, To this day, I still go back to that case every once in a while. I love working with people like Yvonne Smith and, people that understand what happens when you see something. I don't consider myself an experiencer or a contactee because I call it the 1 second that changed everything. Because Martin, when I hit the witness, he said, "What's that?" And when my eyes followed the light, and when I saw that being, it was literally 1,002. That's it. We were already running again.
Yeah. Just we're right near the end of the show here. Did you, once you had given your testimony, did you talk to the witness about the being? Have you spoken to him about it? And did he have the same experience you did?
Yes. I could tell you, we actually, the only time all of us were together, except for the witness, but the state director, the other MUFON investigator, and we had his handwritten testimony at the time. We were at a small conference in Tennessee, and the state director came up and absolutely said, all three of the statements are almost exactly alike. There was nothing about one saying this that contradicted the other. The only thing we were all over the place on, and none of us got it right, and we were all so far apart, was how high that triangle was.
Right.
We were all over the place on our numbers. I mean,
yeah.
We weren't even close.
Yeah. Chase, we're at the end. I'm sorry to say that went really fast.
So if you want to re-listen to it without me interrupting, I'll post a link to it. I'll just reload it from the beginning, so it got the timestamp for you.
An event that happened to us.
So we're back at the beginning. I'll just copy that. So Chase, MUFON investigator, messed up. Big time. Could have really helped out the UFO field drastically here. Triangle sighting. It passed right over top ahead of him, and they could have got some amazing pictures, even if it was distance away, right in a lockdown camera, Faraday cage camera, and they see an alien grey. So in her mind, she knows we're not alone. But we know we're not alone, but we can't prove it because none of us can seem to get evidence. And unfortunately, not much happens in New Zealand. Like, my visitation was out of the blue, wasn't expected, and nothing really happens where I am. But obviously, they know about me and what I do here on YouTube and interact with contactees, experiences, and MUFON investigators. Well, I used to. Seems that my name has got bad out there for some reason. US politics sort of drove everybody mental, and I don't agree with the what most of them think out there. I think they got it all wrong. But anyway, that's Chase for you. And boy, if you've seen her on the new TV show, she's blowing up in size. Not sure if I can show it to you or not, but I got a couple of pictures on Discord. I'm still putting something together for you, and more discussion topics coming. See if it comes up here. So join our Discord UFO group, where you can get access to other stuff that we do and investigate people. We got Area 51 there, and I did post this episode before, and then I decided I was going to do a live show. Let's see, where is the stuff I put up? We got lots of rooms here for posting various topics and parts of UFO stuff. But yeah, she's on a show called Proof, something rather. I'm not sure now. So this was discussion before the live show last time. Here she is. You wouldn't think she was the same person, right? She's like doubled in size, so that must be the lockdown situation going on there, where you're not doing a lot of moving around but eating a lot of junk food. I don't know, she's also aged a lot, right? So that's in 4 years from that 2017 interview. What was the show called? Proof something rather. The proof is out there. Yeah, proof is out there. It should have channel on the end. The proof is out there channel. Coming to out there channel. So yeah, I won't read your private message on here. I'll just close that down. Just wanted to show a picture of what she looks like at the moment. Scary. Yeah. Have I got in time for any more? Probably not. I should be wrapping it up now. Hour and a half already. It's only meant to be an hour. So I thought I was going to do some moon anomalies, but I didn't realise the interview was quite long. But yeah, I would just leave it there. And so basically we covered a recap of the Stargate, how to get the 3D effect, and also that the cloud was actually a cloud and not a UFO on that other episode we did, because the images have been updated since. What else do we do? That's about it. And the MUFON mess up. The best evidence we could ever had from credible people. But anyway, I'll just round up there, guys, and upload it, and people can be informed about it now, alright, if they watch my channel. And I've got to go and have a shower and get some food and all that sort of stuff. It's already 1 o'clock. So, yep, good afternoon, I should say, or good night where you are. I know it's probably something else I've forgotten, but too bad. We'll cover it next live, maybe. And yes, the questions about that stuff, I don't know. If you want to join Discord and post some links to it and ask other people to have a look as well. Plex will probably look at it and see if there's any merit in it. We are not open, let our brains fall out. We are scientists, skeptics as well, and we have had our own experiences. We know there's something real happening and it needs to be taken seriously. Thanks for joining us, guys. It was good to see that we actually got up to 7 there at one stage. I'm not sure how we managed that. But if you join Bitchute, join Twitch if you want to join on the side chats anyway. And yeah, we're over 1,000 subs on Bitchute. And it only took 2 years to get there. That's pretty good for a small channel. And it's only now taken off, right? 50 to 100 subs a month I'm getting. But if you want to get this kind of stuff, I think probably I'm the only one that's bringing attention to it all. So, good night.